are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the July 5th, 2022 meeting of the Michigan City Board of Works and Safety. You can find information on this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
I'd like to call this meeting of the Michigan City Board of Public Works and Safety to order. This 5th day of July 2022, present are Mayor Dwayne Perry, Mr. Michael Vincent, and myself, Virginia Keating. We have a quorum. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the regular hybrid Zoom meeting of June 21st, 2022, and the special hybrid Zoom meeting of June 24th, 2022. Are there any changes?
None here.
And do I have a motion?
Motion to accept.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a memorandum of understanding, an agreement between the City of Michigan City, Indiana, and the LaPorte County LCCVB Convention and Visitors Bureau regarding the Great Lakes Grand Prix Block Party to be held on Saturday, August 6, 2022. So you want to address this?
Morning, everyone. Jack Arnett with LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau. And as you know, there were some changes this year with regards to what was formerly called the Taste of Michigan City. The group that had been taking care of that for us for the last 12 years weren't able to do it. So the Convention and Visitors Bureau needed to step in and make sure that there was no gap in that block party. And that's what this memorandum is about. As we worked through the process, it became clear that, especially from the legal side, from Amber's side, and from a couple of things from the city, that we needed to get a couple of things in writing so there was clear understanding of what our roles were as we ran through the block party and as we took over that new role. So I think that's what is incorporated into this, and our attorneys looked at it. We're fine with it. So we're happy to be able to be part of the memorandum. And the bottom line is folks aren't going to see any difference at all in what they saw in the former when they come down for the block party on Saturday night. It's going to be exactly the same, probably even a little better.
Thank you. Amber, did you want to make a comment?
Mr. Arnett stated it appropriately. The MOU just sets forth the responsibilities of each party putting on the event and laundry lists the insurance requirements and who's going to maintain what.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any comments from the public? Any board comments?
Just one, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Arnett, to you and the board of the Convention and Visitors Bureau. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're more than welcome. It's part of what we all should be doing. Thank you guys for setting this up and putting this understanding together. We're happy to get moving forward. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you. Okay, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is for informational purposes only. Chief Doug Legault, Michigan City Fire Department, is announcing the retirement of Lieutenant Craig S. Krivak with over 22 years of service on the department effective June 24th, 2022. I want to thank Lieutenant Krivak for his service. Next item on the agenda is a request for promotional exam. Bruce Kraus, Civil Service Commission, is requesting the Board of Public Works and Safety's permission to allow Public Safety LLC to do the 2022 promotional exam for the Michigan City Police Department. Is there anyone here to address this?
Bruce Cross couldn't make it today. I'm Scott Maskey from the Civil Service Commission. We're just here today to ask for approval to hire the Institute of Public Safety personnel to conduct this year's promotional exam for the police department. I have the contract here in front of me. I didn't make copies, I'm sorry, but the contract is for $21,000. So that'll require us to move some funds from professional services into our contractual services account to cover that, because currently there's 20,000 in our contractual services account and $6,340 in our professional services account.
Have you dealt with this firm before?
So we have not. This would be the first year for them. This company currently works with 150 police department and fire departments in Indiana and does their testing for them. The reason we went with this company this year, we do promotional testing every 2 years, as you know, is because we experienced some issues last time with our promotional exam. We had a group of female officers who didn't feel like the interview portion of the promotional testing was fair. We also run into some issues where some of the examiners who conducted the oral interviews personally knew some of the officers because it was from this area. They were from Valpo. So we decided to move away from people in this area to avoid that. We didn't want to get caught in any legal issues with those officers again. This company that we chose here, they have a good reputation in this area. They have a good reputation across the state. We're happy with the way they are going to conduct the test. The last company that did the testing, they had done it for several years. And the problem with that is people get used to the same questions, and they really are pretty much the same questions. And so you'll have groups of friends within the department immediately when they're done with the test, start writing down whatever they can remember. And then they get study groups together. And, we want to avoid any of that. We want to be as fair as possible with all this.
Thank you. Amber?
I just have one question. I know the total cost was $21,100, but right underneath there's a provision that talks about if there is an outside rating board that's brought in, because then there's additional compensation for that. Will there be an outside rating board?
No.
Okay, so that won't.
No,
kick in.
they grade it. They grade the test the same day it's done, and the officers have a chance to. They'll have a chance to dispute any test questions that they don't think are fair or worded correctly to them. So it's all done by them the same day. No outside grade.
Perfect. This board should probably make any motion approving subject to the controller's office ability to transfer the line items.
Okay.
You got any questions?
I do, Madam Chair, if I can address.
Could I ask for public
Sure.
comment first? Is there any comment from the public? Okay, go ahead.
I'm still in sticker shock.
All right.
$21,000. How many officers are we interviewing and testing?
So they haven't had a chance to sign up yet. It's not the way it's done. I have no idea. I mean, they can choose to or not choose to. If they want to test, they can test. If not, they don't have to. Not everybody has to test.
So there's no provision in here saying if we have 2 people show up for testing, it's still $21,000.
Correct, because they put the tests together. This year, they're going to group it like they had in years past, like when I took the test. Now, the last test was strictly per rank. So it was corporal, sergeant, lieutenant, and captain's test. Now they're going to be grouped together where it's going to be the corporal and sergeant's test together. But the sergeant's test will have, say, 30 additional questions when they're done. And then same with lieutenant captain. They'd be the same test for the first maybe 70 questions. And then the next 30 would be the captain's. So,
And what was our previous cost for the firm?
So the previous cost was $9,800 for Mike Brickner. And I know, and So there's such a wide range, and I knew you were going to ask this. We also contacted another company that does some work in this area. They're based out of Chicago, and the name of that company is Industrial Organizational Solutions. And their cost to us was going to be $35,000. So we're kind of in the middle here. And again, I didn't want to run into issues with the last testing company like we did. So,
Okay.
and there's not many companies around that do this. We had to seek this one out in Indianapolis.
If this is a statewide company, if we had issues with the last round of interviews and testing, does, just throwing out, Valpo, Chesterton, do other agencies have the same issue?
I don't know. I've not spoken with anybody from those other agencies.
Yeah, and I guess my question would lean back to when you said you reached out to find other companies to do this, or because some people had some complaints or the interviews weren't done fairly, or there were some questions on the questions.
Correct.
Root cause analysis, you don't find somebody to circumvent that. You go back to who was asking those questions, who wrote those. Is there an interior problem with our department?
No. So I think the biggest problem with the interview portion of it was that there were some people, the oral interview part, there were some people that this company is based out of Valparaiso. The gentleman who runs the company was an administrator for Valpo Police Department. Some of our officers have spouses or friends that work there, and they encountered the interviewers knowing them, maybe not directly sometimes, but like, hey, I know your husband, I work with your husband, kind of made them feel uncomfortable. And it was a group of female officers, and they felt it was that the questions were geared more towards male officers. And we didn't want to run into that problem again.
So the previous testing was not local. It was someone out of Valparaiso.
Correct. There's nobody here in Michigan City that does this kind of test.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor, did you have anything?
Just one question, Mr. Maskey. You said you went to 3 sources, right?
Yeah, well, we didn't go to the first
Past.
one, to the past one, just because we had an issue last time and we didn't want to get involved in
And you
anything
went
legal.
to 2 new ones.
So 2 more, correct. The one that we chose here was sought out by our secretary. She is the chief financial officer for East Chicago School District. And so she has friends in that area specifically. And so this company does testing for agencies closer to the Illinois line as well. East Chicago, Hammond, Highland, Gary. So they came recommended. She asked some friends, and this company came recommended. So she sought out a bid from them. And then she also sought out the bid from the one in Chicago, the $35,000 bid.
Where are the interviewers coming from?
They're all Southern Indiana, Middle Indiana.
I just, when you say recommended by a friend, now it just ties right back into.
No. Recommended by her friends over in Lake County, because some of the Lake County police departments use this company that we chose to conduct their testing.
Okay, thank you.
I have one more question. The effective date of this is June 10th, 2022. Is there any way that you could ask them to amend that so the effective date would be the date of approval by this board?
Correct, yeah, no
Okay.
problem.
So, because I know it's a lot of money and it's a year duration, I'd like it to start now versus retroactively.
Anything else? Then do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve pending upon revision of the contract to reflect today's date as the beginning period.
And approval by
And
the
approval.
controller's office.
Yes, and approval by the controller's office. Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a donation of unimproved land. Attorney Joseph Zagden, representing the Michigan City Acreage LLC, an Indiana limited liability company, is prepared to donate undeveloped land situated near the intersection of Barker Road and Eddy Street on an as-is basis, subject to all easements and restrictions of record. Is there anyone here to address this matter?
Yes, I'm here by Zoom. Can you hear me?
Would you please state your name and address?
Joseph Zachnoon. I'm the attorney representing Michigan City Acreage. My office is at 501 Pine Street, Michigan City, Indiana.
Thank you. Would you explain this petition?
Sure. This is a parcel of property. It's approximately 10 acres of wooded property. I believe it's just east of the Arbor Glen apartment complex and west of Barker Middle School, near the intersection of Barker Road and Eddy Street. My client, Michigan City Acreage, has owned this property for a number of years, has no intention of improving the property, has really nothing that it can do with the property, and thought if the city could find a use for it, they would be more than happy to donate this property to the city of Michigan City.
Thank you. Amber?
Yes, Madam President. Attorney Zachnoun was kind enough to provide us with a title search of the property. The title search does reflect that there are certain easements on the property. Myself and Skylar York have to sit down and go through those easements. Also, Attorney Zachnoun, I sent you an email because one of the documents reflects an unrecorded agreement. We're going to
Yes,
need a copy of that unrecorded agreement as well.
Yeah, I'm working with my client to try to locate that. I believe it's a 2008 agreement that you're referring to. Yes.
Yes.
I will get that to the board as soon as I receive it.
Thank you so much. So for purposes of today, I might ask the board just to table this so that we can finish doing our due diligence. Because I know this is a very interesting, unique opportunity, but we want to make sure that we accurately review the easements.
Certainly. Any board comments?
None here.
Go ahead.
While looking at the property where it's at, the shape of the property, it seems like, at least to the layman here, what are we going to do with it? We're going to be in the same position as the current landowner. It's oddly shaped. It's sandwiched in an apartment complex in the school. Looking at where it is and the boundaries of it, would this be a better fit for the Michigan City area schools to own?
He's making an offer to us.
Okay.
Yeah, Michael, yes, we would like to review it first though, and just, yeah, it might make sense that we take it. Maybe it does go to the public schools, or maybe it's used for like Carwick, the nature center in Carwick, or something like that. They have a nature program there. It's just something, it's a unique opportunity to grab a piece of land that is oddly shaped, so it doesn't lend itself to really, let's say, massive development, but it could serve a public benefit as well with respect to maybe it has trails on it, maybe provides a benefit to that neighborhood rather than the city, us like developing it or something like that.
Right. Yeah, I was just trying to circumvent any red tape or, for example, Michigan City took it. Now they have it. Now we got to go through this whole process again to transfer ownership to Michigan City area schools. So if we're all in this together at the beginning, investigating, now we're just waiting for a raise of the hand of we can use it.
And that's why we kind of want to look at the easements on it. I know that there's an old railroad that used to go through there as well. So there's maybe some of these are associated with that. We just don't know because we don't have them all yet.
Okay.
So that's when we'll make our decision. And like I said, it could serve a public purpose with respect to being something naturally useful, if you want to say.
I agree. I just want to see it in the right hands.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. York, and thank you, Andy.
Board members, I'm sure my client would be happy to donate to the Michigan City area schools as opposed to the city, whatever would work out best.
Thank you. Do you have any
No, just a motion.
I make a motion to table. How long do we need?
Hopefully to the next meeting.
Okay, I make a motion to table this until the next meeting.
Support.
Andy, please.
Pending, yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
I call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a request for streetlight. Brad Minnick, Primera Engineers Limited, is requesting to add a streetlight in the alley between Washington Street and Wabash Street on the north side of 11th Street. Morning, Brad.
Good morning.
Parcel.
Let's,
Okay. Okay. Do you, I don't know if you want to go back. Somebody was trying to.
let's go back. Let's go back, okay? As to the last issue, the donation of unimproved land, I understand there's someone who wishes to make a comment from the public. Would you please go ahead and identify yourself?
Hi, this is Tommy Collado from 1316 Ohio Street. I have a request for the clerk's office if they would include the parcel ID of these properties when they come up on the boards or meetings, because that way the members of the public can research where they're at and see that too. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy. Okay, Brad, why don't we go ahead with this request for the streetlight?
Good morning, Brad Minnick, Premier Engineers, 5281 Fountain Drive, Crown Point. This is yet another NICTE project impact. The lighting would service, Marquette housing area on the north side of 11th Street between Washington and Wabash. So it's a security issue. And it's just another street light in the alleyway.
Okay, all right. Is there any public comment? Any board comments?
One question. Mr. Minnick, this light will be pretty close to the intersection of the alley and 11th Street, right? To light up that area?
There are two candidate poles that we're going to put it on, depending on which one remains.
Okay, and we'll be hanging off a NIPSCO pole, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, there's one in the alley to the north and one on the street.
Okay.
Mr. Vincent, you have a comment?
I do not. I just make a motion, we approve.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry. Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a permanent street closure request. Brad Minnick, Premier Engineers Limited, is requesting the permanent street closure of Holiday Street from Schofield Court to Grace Street to accommodate the NICTE quiet zone requirements at Grace Street Railroad Crossing.
And you should have a map in front of you, correct, showing the impacted street.
Are there any comments from the public?
Yes. Rodney McCormick, 617 Union Street. We're doing all these street closures. I hope that this board is looking into the fact, has anyone talked to the residents? Nifty. I'm tired of hearing about South Shore. I'm tired of hearing they done took so much from us. We're not getting too much in return. But it'd be nice if we go talk to the neighbors, the people that live there, the people that vote, the people that have to wake up every morning to see if that's appropriate for them. I know a lot of people use this street to get to their houses. It's off in the back of an alleyway. It would be nice for once that the government, our government, at least go talk to those residents and see what they think about it before just handing over the chopping block of their streets. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the board? Oh, go ahead. Please identify yourself.
This is Tommy Kolavic from 1316 Ohio Street. They want to close Grace Street so that the trains don't have to blow their horns anymore. They're trying to establish these quiet zones. I'm really not too keen on that idea. I think there's going to be a lot more vehicle car collisions. I said, you don't want to be a passenger on the train when it collides with a vehicle. If anybody could tell you that, it'd be me. It happened to me twice last year. I did a little research when that happened because I got really spooked about it. And I did some research on where the safest place to sit on the train is. They recommend that the safest place to sit on the train is the back of the second to the last car of the train. They said if the train derails or if it collides with a vehicle, that it's just, you have the best chance of walking away uninjured. And they also say you don't want to sit the very back car of the train because there's a possibility that the train might have a rear-end collision with another train. I just wanted to pass that along. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy. Skylar, did you want to make a comment?
Yeah, this is not a closure of Grace, the crossing at Grace. This is actually to prevent that closure.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Any comments from the board now?
I have a comment, Madam President, or question. The quiet zone requirements, is I understand them or I've heard communicated before, is what the railroad wants is to prevent people from doing the zigzag around the crossbucks. And that's what you're doing here by putting up cement blocks. So that if the crossbucks are down, people can't zigzag around them. Is that correct?
It's a poured concrete median similar to what's on Michigan Boulevard.
Right.
To prevent that motion, yes.
Yes. And what are the other options we have to prevent a zigzag motion? I know we can go with 4 rails. Grace is not a very wide street. What if we had longer rails that would block that intersection when a train comes by? I mean, if the rails up there now, for just using numbers, are now 10 feet wide and people can zigzag, what if we had a rail that was 12 feet or 15 feet long and now folks can't zigzag? I'm sorry, yeah, the crossbucks, the rails, the arms.
The crossing arms, yes. We've looked at that with the consultant, and there are limitations to the length of the arm.
Based on what?
Based on the mast that they're attached to. So if the arms are too long, they'll cantilever out when they're down, right? And they have the potential to snap if they're too long.
Unless there's a leg. I've seen legs on them.
Correct. That's correct. And right. So there would likely be upgrades to the crossing mast necessary if you're going to make the arm longer. But the reason it's not, say, the full length of a two-way street is because you have to give traffic that's on the tracks on the exit side the opportunity to leave. For fear of pinning them in with too long gates, the traffic would be stuck.
Okay, I'm following you.
Okay. So the proposed arm is going to be 1 foot short of the concrete median. So there'd be no opportunity for the car to go around it.
Yeah, what is the contact pressure of an arm? I'm just looking, it's in manufacturing, they call it poka-yoke. And we're trying to poka-yoke something that if somebody actually wanted to drive through, other than zigzag around, or they could simply just drive their car right through it.
Sure. The arm's not going to stop a car. The concrete median is designed to do that.
Right, but I mean the crossing itself. If we have flashing lights, if we have an arm that comes down, how much farther do we need to go to make drivers aware that, excuse me, a train is coming? I mean, now we have to blow the horn. I just think that we're going too far with closing streets, putting up concrete barriers I know this street is very small, probably not a lot of traffic on it. We could probably close it and only get a half a dozen people affected, but I mean, it's a snowball rolling down a hill. And I think if people don't look at other ways of solving issues, other than just taking the easy, quickest way out, I just don't see this as our best scenario of preventing the quiet zone.
Yeah, the other option that was explored was quad gates at all four corners. And that was approximately 7 times the cost.
Would quad still allow someone to escape the area? Is it different timing? I mean, one comes down on one side and then it waits a few seconds and then the other one comes down so that no one gets caught in the middle?
Correct. They don't come down concurrently. They don't all four close at the same
What
time.
is that timing? I'm just imagining if I'm going across a railroad track and it starts dinging and the bars start coming down, the last thing I do is slow down. I get out of there, right?
Sure.
So how long do we expect the gates, the ding, 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 caution driver, then the arms come down, caution driver. Now we still have to allow them escape time. I mean, what are we trying to alleviate? A 30-second delay before the train gets there?
The escape time is dependent on the number of tracks, right? So if there are 3 tracks, it would be a longer escape time than if there's a single track.
Correct. Yes.
There'll be 2 in this case.
We don't know what the escape
I don't
time
have the escape time.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. I'm rambling on now. Sorry.
And then also wanted to note there was a common council meeting. The name last Wednesday at 1 o'clock to inform impacted residents.
Was there anybody at that council meeting? Any of the residents? One?
We had 1 attendee, but they were online, so couldn't tell you. And then the impacted wards were represented as well. And as Skylar said, Gray Street crossing is not closing. Just the 1 block to the south.
It's Holiday Street, is it?
It's Holiday Street from Schofield to Gray Street.
Rodney, I see that you want to make a comment. I'll make an exception and let you come up, okay?
Thank you. I lived on Gray Street for approximately 25 years. And I just want to say that something else is going on with this crossing. We had accidents at this crossing and a lot of crossings going down Holiday Street. They came out, changed it to where now if a train is getting ready to leave the station, like four or 5 arms drop all the way down the street and you have to wait there for quite a while. And on Grace, it's impossible to zigzag around. It's impossible. You can't get around that sign unless you got some kind of monster truck. There's no way. There's a house over on one side. There's barricades on the other side. There's no way you can jump over. You can get around it. The arms come down. There's no way you can even cross it. And it's a frustrating thing for us right now because, like I said, the train on Carroll Street, once it starts loading or whatever, all the arms drop down on like 4 or 5 streets. And it's for a long period of time until that train finally goes on and move on. There's something else going on here and I don't like it, but I respect any decision you guys make.
Thank you. Brad? Is your main consideration safety?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board? And do I hear a motion?
My motion at this time would be to deny. Is this a one and done? I mean, this is not a revisited item. And I know the city council is working on quiet zones and this goes to that end of having quiet zones. And as Mr. McCormick stated, the public, I mean, we have open public comments at every one of our meetings, and if the public is certainly welcome to show up and express their concerns, but it sounds like, what does the public want? Do they want to close do they want to close that section of Holiday Street, or do they want the whistles? It sounds like you can't have both. So at this time, for me to make a decision on what the public wants, to listen to the horn or be inconvenienced with a street closure, that's not my call unless I hear more from the residents in that area.
Well, also from the council, because the council's been driving this.
Correct. Yes, they've been
Mr.
driving
McCormick,
this as well.
Mr. McCormick, have you had feedback from the residents? Or is this your gut feel from?
A few people in Woodard, a few people that live on that block, so.
Okay.
It's something's not right with what he's saying, so I'm sorry. It's just totally impossible to zigzag around these crossings now, because there was so many accidents. I don't know who idea it was, but they came in and did it. Since that time, there hasn't been no accidents because you can't get around. You can't get around, and I believe the officer that's here, he knows what I'm talking about. It's just something else is going on, so.
I make a motion to deny.
My motion would have been to table it, so I'm not going to second that motion.
Motion dies.
I'll amend my motion to table. How long would you like?
Just one meeting.
I make a motion to table until the next meeting, until further research can be done.
Thank you. A second.
And then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well.
Thank you, Michael.
Next item on the agenda is a request for no parking sign. Mary Ann Rowan, Dunescape 3 Villas, 100 Lakeshore Drive, is requesting the installation of a no parking sign on Lakeshore Drive adjacent to the Dunescape Villa exit next to Washington Park. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Mary Ann Rowan, a board member of Dunescape Phase 3 Villas. And with me is Larry Spaeth, a fellow board member. We thank you for adding us to your agenda. As you said, we are here to request placement of a no parking sign in the parking place on Lakeshore Drive that is adjacent to the Dunescape exit near Washington Park. We are making this request, as representatives of Dunescape Phase 3 Villas Board, after receiving requests for help with this situation from our own board members who've experienced problems and from members of the association. Let me describe the problem. When a vehicle is parked in this space, it is difficult and often dangerous to exit the Dunescape complex. Cars traveling westbound on Lakeshore Drive are unable to see a car attempting to leave Dunescape. The Dunescape exit immediately precedes the stop sign at the intersection of Lakeshore Drive and Kruger Street. So drivers on westbound Lakeshore Drive are slowing, we hope, but not yet stopped. Likewise, the driver of a car exiting Dunescape is unable to see vehicles or cyclists approaching westbound on Lakeshore Drive due to the obstruction of a car that parked in that last parking spot. Several near collisions have been reported to the Dunescape Board, and our request to eliminate a parking place with a no parking sign is intended to avoid impending hazard. We included some pictures to depict the problem. Stacy, are those pictures able to go up? Oh, they have. Okay. The pictures, actually, I made a mistake and didn't number them for Stacy. So the pictures you have are in reverse order. If I may ask you to look at what is on one of the last ones in your packet, it's the first one I wanted to share. And what you see in this picture is two cars parked on westbound on Lakeshore Drive. The picture shows how difficult it is for a driver on Lakeshore Drive to see someone pulling out of Dunescape. The second picture is the view for a driver from the exit at Dunescape. The third picture depicts how close we are to the stop sign as we try to exit Dunescape. So exiting must be very slow and cautious. The fourth picture provides another view of the difficulty of the exiting driver faces when trying to pull out of Dunescape. And the 5th and 6th pictures also depict the difficulty of trying to see cars or cyclists when trying to exit from Dunescape. So you'll note really from pictures 4, 5, and 6 that a no parking designation for one parking place is critical. And we've learned more in the last few weeks that it's not just for cars, but for cyclists. You can't see cyclists. And my husband and I experienced it this weekend trying to pull out. So it's a very challenging exit. Our concern is that someone driving or riding a bike on Lakeshore Drive or a driver exiting Dunescape will be seriously hurt. It is with these concerns in mind that we are making this request. We believe it's very important, and we'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Do you have any questions?
I'd request some input from Captain Lineski on this, please.
I intended to call him.
Good morning, Captain Jeff Lineski, Traffic Division. I did get a chance to look at it, and I agree that there is a definite obstruction for observing east or westbound traffic on Lakeshore Drive. The pictures point that out. My only recommendation would be, instead of placing a no parking sign there, that we do the curb painting along with some pavement markings, cross hatches, because the street department would be required to actually drill into the concrete sidewalk there to install a stop sign, or a no parking sign rather. So I think it'd be easier for the street department, and I think it'd be easier for the public to see exactly how far that no parking zone extends, rather than just placing a no parking sign.
Thank you, Captain.
Comment if I may.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks, Captain. I agree with Captain Lineski's assessment fully. Having looked at the Sheridan Beach area just recently, there's a real parking problem developing in your area.
Yes, there is.
So to eliminate parking for several hundred feet, a block or so, I don't think that does the neighborhood as a whole. It may help you, but I don't think it does the neighborhood as a whole any. So I think marking that curb with yellow paint, indicating maybe go back 50, 70 feet, whatever clears your view of oncoming traffic, but it still allows 2 to 3 vehicles to park on Lakeshore Drive right there.
That would, I think usually it's about 6 cars that park there. Sometimes 7 or 8 try to squeeze in. I live on the other end of Lakeshore Drive of Dunescape. There were cars parked over the entrance to Dunescape this weekend. You know, they parked anywhere. But I do agree with you. Larry and I pulled out this morning to come to the meeting, and coincidentally, the first 2 places were vacant. I mean, the 2 places closest to the exit for Dunescape were vacant. It was so nice to pull out. It was just a coincidence that occurred, you know.
We can always look at the other ones later on.
But just right there.
On yours, I would defer to the professional knowledge of Captain Lineski.
Forgive me, I was agreeing with you. I was just telling a story about this morning.
Thank you.
Is there any comments from the public? Go ahead, Mike.
I have a couple questions with regards to when this was built. An engineer looked at it, or somebody looked at it and said this was fine, right? I'm concerned about the people at 160 Lakeshore Drive. Are they part of your association? Are they in agreement?
They are.
So,
in fact, there's a member,
they're willing to give up their parking space?
One of the board members lives in 160. One of the 160s.
Is this the Volkswagen we see parked there now?
No. The board was very supportive. It came up at our annual meeting. The association members who came to the annual meeting were very supportive and very thrilled that we were going to pursue it. So it is a phase 3 effort to come and talk with you. So Larry and I are simply representing, as board members, the phase 3 villas. It was unanimous.
My other question is that the only exit?
No, there's another exit for people who live on the other side of Dunescape. They come the larger size, which is, east of what we're talking about. They can enter there or exit there. We can't. We pull in the 160s and 70s, and we have to pull out that way. And then people in 150s and beyond can also pull out that way.
You
So
say
that-
you have to, or
We have
it's
to.
just more convenient?
No, we have to go one way.
Oh, it's a one-way. and-
For ours, for 160, 70s and 60s, it's one way. We have to go out that way.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then other units as well go out that way.
I'll make a motion to approve and incorporate by reference the recommendations that we received from Captain Lineski.
I'll second.
I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Next item on the agenda is a payroll docket for June 17th, 2022, city payroll of $742,525.53. And the July 1st, 2022 city payroll pension of $912,918.58. Do I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion we approve.
Support?
A call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item is the claims docket for July 5th, 2022, municipal claims of $1,471,880.46. CDBG, it's the Community Development Block Grant is zero. Health and Life Insurance Fund, $402,681.15. Workers' Comp Trust, $40,852.75 for total claims of $1,915,414.36.
Motion to approve for the
Second.
amount stated.
Oh, sorry, second.
Okay, call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is the mobile vendor application. Breland Herbie, 1705 Springland Avenue, is requesting the renewal of his mobile food vendor license application approved for 6 months, being located at Reprographic Arts, 2824 East Michigan Boulevard on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Good morning. Would you state your name, please?
Good morning, Breland Hervey, 1705 Springland Avenue, Michigan City, Indiana. First thing I think, it says 6 months, but I think it's supposed to be a year.
The application does say 1 year.
Okay. Yep, so just looking to renew this. We do take off Saturdays in hopes for our new location, which we'll be coming back for once we have the concrete poured.
Yes, it appears everything is in order.
Skylar?
This is just a current location where he's been. So I would say that if you guys are up for renewal, he's able to renew.
Okay. Any comments from the public? That any board
He had
comments?
Saturday? I thought I heard him say Saturday. It says.
Just your.
No, the new one is we get rid of Saturday in hopes for that'll be our new location. We're gonna change the dates for that.
Okay. So for this location, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays?
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Motion to approve.
Wait a minute.
I just wanted to say, Rodney McCormick, 617 Union Street. He's doing a great job, Kevin, over at Reprographic Arts. The place is always clean. People enjoy coming there. And this is the kind of business that we need to come to Michigan City. He's just doing a great job. I just want to say thank you. Thanks.
All right.
The motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well.
Thank you.
Okay, we're down to unfinished business. First item is Councilman Paul Prespolinski, 1716 Washington Street, was requesting a solar stop sign at Ripley and Wabash Streets. This is up here for status. Does anybody have anything on this? We were needing to replace battery packs the last time we talked.
Yes, those stop signs have been replaced. They now have the flashing stop signs at that intersection. We've also replaced the one at Springland and Vale Street. And we've also replaced the ones in front of the zoo on Lakeshore Drive.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is Shannon Eason, Assistant Superintendent of the Park Department, is requesting approval to allow leash dogs on native trails in Ruby Woods. And this is also here for a status.
Morning, Board. Shannon
morning.
Eason, Assistant Park Superintendent. So in 2019, this board approved dogs on Singing Sands Trail, which is common practice across the nation. Since that time, we developed some trails on Bismarck Hill, and the park board approved those as being dog friendly. Winding Creek Cove was just approved, and Krieger Memorial Park. So moving forward, I think the intention of the park board is, as we develop nature trails in neighborhoods, that they should be dog friendly. Ruby Woods is not under the jurisdiction of the park department. However, we do maintain it. We clean the trash, keep the trails clean, and provide the rule signs. The park board's in favor of Ruby Woods being dog friendly, so we are bringing it to this board. And if it's your pleasure to approve it, we'll continue to maintain and monitor. If there's ever issues with dogs on trails, we'll address it at that time, but it's been 3 years and nothing has been reported to the park department as far as a dog issue.
Thank you. Mayor?
No questions. If there's no questions, I'm going to make a motion.
Cool.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well.
Thank
Next
you.
item on the agenda, Shannon, you're up again. You're requesting approval for 2 MOUs for 2 artists, Nicole Beck and Terry Karpowitz.
So this is part of the Michigan City Public Art Committee's Sculpt Fusion program. That program rotates sculptures throughout the downtown art district. We're also starting to branch out a little farther into the neighborhoods and a little bit south into the city. I apologize for the error at the last meeting. We use a standard template. We pay $3,000 in 2 installments for a 2-year lease. This year we had 1 artist with 2 pieces, so it's $6,000 for the 2-year period. It's our standard agreement that's been approved by your attorney, and installation is scheduled for July 23rd of this year. And again, the 3 pieces would be here for 2 years.
Any comments from the public? Board comments?
So the cost of these is $1,500 per year.
Correct.
For 2 years and $6,000 since we're looking at 2 of them.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
I make a motion, we approve.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Rodney Dumas, 106 Crestwood Drive, requesting approval of a mobile vendor license application from June 22nd through December 20th, 2022 at Reynolds Automotive LLC. What's the status on this? There was a
I think we're waiting for the applicant to answer some of our questions.
I think there was some missing
and,
information, wasn't there?
yes,
Okay.
and they're not, I don't believe they're here.
In the correspondence I did send him, I asked him to be here. What's pleasure, just leave it on?
Leave it on the list for next meeting.
What is he vending? Does it? I don't know.
That's, I think, what we're trying to get a handle on.
Okay.
Yeah, that was one of our questions. Yeah.
Next item on the agenda is Rodney McCormick's request for cameras and security lights in the neighborhoods of 11th, 10th, and York Streets.
Hello. Watched the last city council meeting. We had a lot of individuals get up and speak about safety in our community. I find it hurtful that you can take you will violate my constitutional right to protest peacefully. But then you allow these thugs to run around our community and sell drugs in the open, throw paper wherever they want to, violence, 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 violence. Mr. Vincent, you was there at the last city council meeting where A lot of neighbors got up and spoke about how it was hard to get in touch with Mr. Campbell and they had enough. I've been saying this for the last 4 years. I don't see a plan from the Michigan City Police Department. And it's hard for us to defend for ourselves. I guess we had the cameras up right now. It will make things better in these troubled neighborhoods. Not cameras that's going to be there forever, but you can be able to move those cameras around. We have ARP money. I mean, when Ask a Cop, Chris was on the police department, they did a good job with PR. I mean, a lot of things that was going on, they advised us of what was going on in the neighborhood as far as it's crime here, there. Please, here's our card, call us. We don't get that here. We don't get that with this administration. I don't know why it is.
Mr. McCormick,
But-
we're here as a status matter.
Okay,
So that.
yeah, I still,
we
those cameras are
understand-
still needed,
Yeah, we
and I hope
heard
that
you
you
and
get
we
it.
understand what you're saying.
Yes.
We're just here for status to see where we're at
Yes.
with this request.
Okay, is it time for our comment?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to respond to what Mr. McCormick says. We are looking at that, Mr. McCormick. We're looking at that. Unfortunately, I have not found a member of this common council that's interested in spending the ARPA money on cameras for that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's sad. I mean, we got people on city council, got 20 million people want to run for mayor and it's just ridiculous. And they want to put up more youth centers or want a big field house and all this stuff. Public safety is number one. And you guys are doing a great job. Contrary to what was said at the city council meeting by Mr. Dabney and Mr. Mack and some other individuals, something has to happen. I mean, we're looking for help. Just in my neighborhood alone, we have another house that's been every window broke out of the house. We know who's doing it, but nobody's doing nothing to stop them. So thank you.
Our police department has the cure. We just got to get the support from the council to use that money the way it should be used.
Okay.
That's my opinion. Thank you.
I have
So,
a comment. Just want to take, Madam Chair, if I may.
Sure.
Cameras, I recently heard a discussion. We can get somebody on video and say, we know who's doing this, right? Here this person is. You just commented, we know, don't need a rebuttal, but not long ago, we had video, we had pictures of an individual on a robbing spree. And we asked the public, who is this? Do you know this person? Here's the one that's doing all this robbing. Nobody got back. Nobody knew this person. Come to find out, that person was a police officer's brother-in-law. You tell me somebody on video you can't recognize being your brother-in-law? That's somebody that recognized and chose not to say. We as public have to say when we know. Rodney, if you know, you have to say. You can't wait for something to be on video and wait for somebody else to do something. I'm sorry.
okay, we're just here on this matter. Is on the agenda for status. Is it the board's desire to continue this under the status comment?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll just move on from there. All right, this will remain on our pending items list.
What, Madam Chair, could we put it for the first meeting in July?
Certainly.
We are.
August.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're here in July.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
First meeting in August.
okay. All right, moving on. Councilman Paul Prespolinski, 1716 Washington Street. He was commenting about Brown Kinsel Ditch needing to be cleaned out, wanted to know what was happening. And I believe that Brad, you had some comments on that. Oh, wait, that's set for August. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting confused here. Richard Sterry, 838 Odell Street, is requesting the city's help with shutting down Knoll tree service across the street from his residence due to noise and air pollution. And once again, this is on this at this board meeting for status only. Is there anything we can say about this?
Madam President, several city departments are working on this right now. However, when I see things on your pending list, I see them as, is it something the board actually has jurisdiction of or approval of? Right now, there's nothing that I see that would warrant the board's approval of or disapproval of. So I don't know what the need would be to continue tabling this. If the planning department was to issue certain orders, this board would serve as the appellate body for any review hearings. That hasn't happened yet. So I guess I just don't know the need for this to continue on the pending list. The departments are looking at it, but like I said, as a board, I don't know what would be coming in front of you for approval or disapproval.
Based on these comments, and do I have a motion to remove?
Motion to remove.
Second.
Call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Benson?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda, Councilman Paul Prespolinski, 1716 Washington Street, requests to know when the used, unused poles that he has been questioning are going to be removed. Brad?
Good morning again, Brad Minnick, Premier Engineers. I had opportunity to meet with two separate employees from NIPSCO in the last couple weeks about their pole removal process, and it's a comprehensive as needed plan, but it's not something that's available to the public. That answers the question. They recognize when poles are no longer needed and then remove them accordingly. But it's not something that they're going to roll out for public viewing. It's
Okay,
proprietary to NIPSCO.
And have you communicated with Councilman Prespolinski regarding this?
No, I just wanted to bring the board this morning up to speed, but I can also communicate with him as well.
Okay. All right. And I understand that some of those poles have been removed that you had asked about earlier?
Correct.
Okay. Just want clarification.
It's an ongoing process, and that has been explained to Councilman Prespolinski in the past.
Okay. Then what is the board's pleasure regarding this? Do you want to keep it
Motion to
on?
remove.
I'll second.
Okay, call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Benson?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is Brad Minnick, Premier Engineering Limited, is requesting a culvert. I think you were going to install a culvert or repair a culvert at 945 South Woodland Avenue. What's the status, Brad?
That's correct. Still actively looking for a company to provide a third quote for the service. One local company that I contacted is booked up for this calendar year and is not quoting any more work. And the fourth company is still working on the quote.
Okay.
So the sanitary district has the two quotes in hand that I've received, and they're just waiting on the third.
Okay. So we'll keep this on the pending items list then. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Next is Brad Minnick, Premier Engineering Limited, is requesting to energize 4 street lighting controller cabinets and 1 traffic signal along 11th Street. What's going on with this?
This has been out of my hands and it's moving forward with NIPSCO. So
All right.
I think,
So we'll leave this on the items, pending items list.
sure.
And from what I can see, that is all that we have today on the pending items on finished business list. Thank you.
I think we may have missed one for Councilman Paul Prespolinski regarding the light poles at Wabash Street by the old St. Anthony's Hospital.
Where is it?
It was above the culvert one on Woodland Avenue.
Okay.
So I looked at that stretch of Wabash Street, and there are 5 overhead lights in that area, all on the east side of the street, as well as 4 pedestrian poles at the south end of that stretch of Wabash Street. So I would say it is as well lit as, if not more so, than other areas of the city. So I don't know that it's necessarily merited to add additional lighting.
Okay, so are you indicating to the board that you think the board should deny this request?
Yes, I believe that lighting is adequate at this time.
Okay.
We'll take the word about it.
And I did share with Michael the cost of additional lighting. I don't know if that was related to this request, Michael, or another request.
Yeah, that was for another project. But yes, thank you for sharing that. And I make a motion that we remove this item.
Support.
Do we need to deny it?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I make a motion, we deny the request.
Support.
Okay, call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item is public comment. I want to note that public comment is limited to 3 minutes. All comments to be addressed to the board president, not to individual board members, and all comments must be germane to and within the mandate and authority of this board. Having said that, are there any comments from the public?
This is
Please.
Tommy Kolovic from 1316 Ohio Street. Kind of goes back to the request that you approved last week to remove the wayfinding signs for the Amtrak station. The city ordinance says it's prohibited to have signs that advertise a business is closed. You see that all over the city. When these businesses close, they need to take their signs down. I can point to several examples of that. I got 2 of them just up the road from me, the former Gabby's Tavern. They've been out of business. It was sold at public auction. It's changed hands a couple of times. Another one is a Burnham Glove. They still got their billboards saying that's Burnham Glove. That property's changed hands about 4 times. Mr. Plunk, he does his woodworking shop in there. He does really good custom woodworking. Now it would be the Ornell Pearl at 9th and Franklin. Mr. Patrick Wilkins owns that. He was running his catering service out of there. He doesn't do that anymore. He's got the building up for sale. The MC Supermarket on Michigan Boulevard. Mr. Patel tried running his market out of there, and he closed it down. They still got the signs up. There's going to be a new supermarket going in there. J. Mar Ruby, they still got the sign saying that's the corporate offices for J. Mar Ruby. That J. Mar Ruby's out of business. They got the new owners of that building. So I think it's just good business stewardship to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy. Are there any comments from the public? Board comments?
I have
No,
I'm sorry.
no, you're right. You're right. We want to finish this matter.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kim.
Just, we want to finish this matter first.
Okay.
The Mayor, did you want to make a comment about Mr. Kolovic's?
Yes, I do. In response to Mr. Kolovic's comment, I appreciate your philosophy on good business stewardship, but these signs are on the property that is owned by these businesses. We do not have the authority to take down their signs or to order them to take them down if they're on their private property. They're personally owned property.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, go ahead and identify yourself, please.
Kathy Stransky, and I live at 223 East Barker Ave. Yesterday morning at 2:41, I had another shooting behind my house. I called 911. By the time I got down the stairs into the back door, I had an officer waiting for me. And they did shoot, same house, same situation. And they got four of the shells this time because they got there so fast. I don't know what we can do with these households that are in these neighborhoods. I'm within 300 feet of a grade school and a playground, and we have shootings, and it's not good. It's scary. I don't know what we can do. I don't know what department can take it over. I don't know how we handle this. It is not just at night. This particular person, this is the 3rd time in that house that this particular person has been shot at. Twice he got hit. This last time he did not. You don't have that going on if the person doesn't know what's going on. I'm concerned for the neighbors. I'm concerned for the kids. Because he in the middle of the afternoon, he'll come zipping down the alley, and he's got a car chasing him, and he gets out of his car and runs in his house, and then that car zooms down the alley. There's no particular time. I can't say we do it every day at 4:00. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't know who to hand it to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any board comments?
Catherine? Were the police able to make do you know if the police made an arrest on this last incident?
They got the 4 shells. They found. You know, I'm thinking maybe we should put a city light on the pole back there, a city light. And then one of two things will happen. He'll either quit with his activity that brings this to this house, or they'll finally get to shoot him and we'll know who he is and we'll know who they are. Because it's too much for the neighborhood. Too many kids.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rodney McCormick, 805 Martin Luther King Drive, Vice President of the Martin Luther King Youth Center. I just want to thank this board, Mr. Mayor in particular, and Sean Smith. No Tree Service came out and took out some troubling trees, and they did a good job. Noel's been there for quite a while. I've been knowing him for over 40 years now. And I just greatly appreciate that help that we're getting out there. On another note, we hear people come in and complain about people with small business doing things they shouldn't be doing. And we immediately jump to the gun and don't review the facts. I heard all kinds of things about IDEM came in and checked Noel's Tree Service. That wasn't true. There wasn't a big cloud of diesel fuel, all smoke all over, but there was some problems that I believe that have been addressed. I just want to say that we can do better if we communicate with each other. The doors of our center will always be open to help our residents out there and to make sure that you guys, if you want to have a seat at the table, and instead of just taking one side, we can all come together. I just have a problem when we have out-of-towners who don't live here. I'm going to be from Michigan City for life. I'm from Lakeland. It's my heart and my everything is there. I just think that we can do better as a board, as a people, as a city. We need to look out for Michigan City first. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Any board comments?
No, Madam President.
Then hearing, go ahead.
I'm going to try and limit my list I made to a few high-level items. We had, Mr. McCormick is right, we had some pretty heavy discussion at the last city council meeting with the public's safety, and hearing another safety concern tonight in a completely different neighborhood. I would like to see more people step up. For example, we had a public meeting scheduled set for everyone to come out and share with the elected officials and appointed officials what the issues were, maybe work on resolving or bringing to light what exactly those issues are, and maybe some ways to help in the area. I showed up for that meeting only to learn that it was canceled. I found out that meeting was canceled because there were too many people from the public coming to the meeting. So the person that scheduled the meeting canceled it. And my opinion is it's the opposite. You should welcome the public, no matter what neighborhood you're from, no matter how many there are. If the venue is too small, I'm sure people will be willing to stand in the hallway. It was a nice evening. We could have met outside in the park. We could have done other things to let people's voices be heard other than cancel the meeting. And I haven't heard anything if we're going to have another one or not. But I agree with comments that are made that we do have issues in the city, but until the city stands up and recognizes these issues and listens to the public and invites the public of what their concerns actually are. And I had a laundry list of things I wanted to bring to the meeting to help with regards to street lighting costs and where they're at and things of that nature. But where do I share them now? I don't know. Fortunately, I have a microphone. I'm going to prevent myself from rambling, but the public, what do? I sent an email asking somebody if there was a point of contact within the city that the public can call, not only for a safety issue, but directing a water issue, a sanitation issue. I've been given the runaround before. There's no one in the city that you can call to make that a one-call stop shop. We as the public have to call around. We have to chase people. And it's been over a year. I'm still waiting on something to be done at the corner of Greenwood and White Oak. And the sanitary district will show me they call it a swag report. They have too much on their swag report, and the small concerns of the citizens get thrown down to the bottom of that and never reached. So, yeah, myself included, the elected and appointed members of the city have to do a better job. So, thank you. Sorry.
Thank you for your comment. Any other comments?
Only one, Madam Chair, in reference to the public safety meeting that was canceled. My knowledge of that was that the meeting was requested by Councilman Bryant Dabney to address public safety in the Eastport area. And it was arranged with Chief Deon Campbell, MCPD. And just before the meeting, our notable public person, Thomas Crown, anonymous, whoever he is, posted on Facebook that it was a public safety meeting for the entire community. And the chief canceled it because he didn't have the space, and that's not what the meeting was intended for. He's not opposed. I've talked to him about this. He's not opposed to public safety meetings, but when it gets out of control like that one did, from an unauthorized source, that was when he backed away from it. But he has no problem with public safety meetings. I don't have any problem with public safety meetings. Anytime, if I heard him right, I think Mr. McCormick offered some space at Martin Luther King Center. I think that's a great venue. I've met with Mr. McCormick there. It's a good place to have a meeting. So anytime the public wants to have a meeting, schedule it with Mr. McCormick. He'll get it on to the proper entities in government, and we'll do it. But it was unfortunate that happened on a public safety meeting because Mr. Dabney requested it by the proper procedure, and it was going to take place, and then all of a sudden it just blew up. That's what happened there.
I guess that's what we want, right? Public safety meetings should involve as much of the public as possible. And to wait for the public to schedule a meeting, could you request with?
I'm not saying that. Once the agenda, the time, the place, everything is established, last minute changes that are made by unauthorized people don't help the situation. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you for the explanation, Mayor. I think that if you have anything additional between the two of you.
No more comment.
Yeah, talk it out after this meeting. Okay, all right. Anything else? And hearing nothing else, then I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make motion to adjourn.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Benson.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well.